There's no real farm infrastructure or homestead infrastructure here. We made it to our farm and we are getting started on our new little homestead. It's interesting because we've started homesteads before on little, our suburban lots, but we've been talking about how what we're doing right here is we're basically starting over and converting a suburban yard to a homestead, but just on a larger scale.
Well, one, it's been mowed probably for 17 years, twice a week, and so it's actually got more biodiversity than I thought it would have. It's got clover and it has gray coneflower.
Also, there's no infrastructure.
Yeah, there's no trees anywhere.
There's no real farm infrastructure or homestead infrastructure here either.
Yeah, because everyone I tell that we bought 6 acres, they're like, well, what, do you have a barn? Do you have any outbuildings? Like, there's a shed for the lawnmower that they took. So no, there's nothing.
We have one good sized shed, and we've discussed using it for equipment storage, and we've also discussed using it for small animal quarters. Like, it would be big enough to, if we wanted to convert it to a chicken coop, or if we wanted to convert it to a goat barn, a goat shed. I don't know that it's big enough for a cow, and there's no fencing. And it's just grass.
And everything's flat.
And everything is flat, yeah.
Flat. So they're like, oh, well, maybe we could, move a hillock here, or there's no ponds, there's no hills, there's no, it's just flat.
So in a lot of ways, this is just like starting over on another suburban lot where we're going to start just killing things and, killing the grass and basically wrecking up the place.
Yeah.
We don't have a truck, and we know we would like a truck, and that would make certain tasks like way more easy.
Like, hauling things.
But I thought I had seen somebody take cattle panels in their van before, and that they'd kind of folded it over like this and slid it straight into the back of their van. And we just tried to do that, and it was like 1.5 inches too wide, like maybe even just 1 inch too wide to get in. So finally what we decided to do, we rolled the cattle panels. The roll has been held together by zip ties. So we made it. We got our cattle panels in our van truck.
There was a burn pile, an area where they've been burning trash for a long time
and just storing.
Yeah, and just junk. And so there's metals, there's glass, there's bits of masonry. It's kind of just a disgusting area that's growing nothing but thistles right now. But that offered the one kind of opportunity for something where we put our bees there. So, because we don't need it to be growing anything for the apiary, and we don't want the boys going too near the bees anyway. So the bees have their own. It's not an apiary; it's an fortress.
It's
a bee fortress
with fortifications all around. Well, and that's the thing, is that at first we thought like, oh, okay, we can rehabilitate this area, and the more we've looked at it, the less comfortable we feel with rehabilitating it. You don't want to graze animals in an area where they are possibly, picking up bits of metal that will make them sick. We don't want our kids or our animals walking over shards of broken glass and cutting up their feet. And when we say we put the bees there, we put the beehives there.
Empty beehives. But that will be a different video.
Well, we hope we'll catch some swarms, but, that's extra hopeful. We hope to catch a swarm.
Of bees, not of wasps.
Yeah. So that's one thing that we've decided. I've started a couple different methods for getting our garden started. I've put down cardboard and layered stuff on top, kind of lasagna style. Yeah, and you know, brought in bags of things. Today I'm mixing up some soil mix to start planting my summer garden things in. I have peat moss and different types of compost. This is food scraps compost, and this is cow manure compost, and different types of compost will give you different nutrients for your soil. So it's good to get a mix of as many different kinds as you can. And then I have vermiculite, and also have some sand. I got my tomatoes in. They were so big in the greenhouse, they needed to be planted. So, and I also got marigolds in and basil in. In some more area, I have been solarizing to kill the grass.
That's right.
And now we borrowed a tiller just for, you know, preparing this sod for the first time. We've borrowed it because we don't really feel like, I don't know.
We can't afford a tiller. We just bought a farm. We're poor. We're dirt poor. I don't know what that phrase is. Soil rich,
Is that like
money
house
poor.
poor?
Yeah,
like
something
house
like
poor?
that.
We're dirt poor because
Dirt poor.
we spend all our money on dirt, on a big piece of dirt,
We got a bunch of dirt.
so we can grow some stuff.
We can't be grass poor because that sounds like a marijuana reference.
That's true. First thing we did after getting possession of the property was go buy some more chickens, because pretty sure you can never have too many chickens. Actually, and we bought some guinea fowl. I bought 4. I kind of hope that maybe there's some boys and girls in there, and so that maybe we could raise some more. We already had 3 ticks this year just in our urban property. Tick pressure is really high this year. So we are going to try out guinea fowl and hopefully let them eat lots of ticks on our property. Other than that, we're just dreaming. And we got that one on the end.
This one?
We got them all on clearance, 50% off, because it's June. Is that what you said? Yeah. June. So we'll have to make sure that they stay watered this summer really well, especially getting towards August and September. The end of the summer is when things dry out. Apple tree, apple tree, apple tree. We got 4 apple trees on clearance.
You're all doing fine.
Okay, there's multiple reasons why the apple trees might not make it. One of those reasons is they were on clearance at the end of the season, which means they've been sitting there for a long time and not in the best conditions. So another reason why they might not make it is because we've been having a heat wave for the last 2 weeks since we planted them, and we've been up in the high 90s, which is, we've been really hot and really dry. And then the third reason that all the apple trees might not survive is part of our reason for getting a farm in the first place, and is to teach our teenage boys truth and consequences.
Which is a great town in Arizona. Shout out.
No.
Truth, wait.
No.
Truth and
New Mexico.
consequences? New Mexico.
New Mexico.
That's right.
Truth and consequences. So there was an issue with one teenager and one riding lawnmower, and that's all we have to say about it. Oh, you could say more.
No, just I was going to say, like, probability and statistics thrown out the window for this event.
4.5 acres of grass,
Open space,
and 4, yearling apple trees. Yeah, just defies statistics a little bit. But like I say, in the midst of the challenge, in the midst of the challenging circumstance, we had the presence of mind to remember that this is part of why we're doing this, is we want our children to experience real things, to use their bodies, use their agency, and see the consequences of their actions, including negative consequences for irresponsible actions, but hopefully a lot of positive consequences for their good hard work and hard labor, and a lot of skills learned from working hard, and that's what we're hoping to do.
Mm-hmm.
We've been foraging for mulberries. We found how many trees? 4
mulberry trees.
4,
that
and
are
then
bearing fruit.
Yeah. But on the back quarter, what are we going to call that?
I don't know.
In the wilderness?
Yes.
There's a little bit of a pretty wilderness off to one side. We wandered around there. There's lots of poison ivy. Hello, goats. That's what we need.
Yes.
But we have to keep a tight leash on those goats, because there's also wild blackberries and wild roses. So there's some fun stuff back there, and a lot of poison ivy. So that is the start. Those are our first steps of starting our new homestead from scratch. And we hope you'll follow along and see what else we get up to, and join us in our journey. What?
We should just have it like somewhere like on a World War II planes when they have kill markings. We should have that, so we have how many apple trees we kill, how many grass acres we kill. Just a tally of all the things that we actually destroy on our mission.
Hopefully all the animals stay alive, except for the
buddies.
pesky ones. Hopefully they don't.
And the raccoons. Oh, but the blue herons flying majestically through the sky. I've never heard a blue heron call before. I thought it'd be a little bit more melodious.